Hello, back again this week with a little bit of chat. Following on from something I said earlier, actually. So it's I've got a post, I've got some stuff to show you, I've got some anger to repress because too many people, now that the restrictions are being eased and things are opening up, start to think that once again their own reasons and their opinions are enough to close down conversations that involve actual logic and science. So pretty sure I speak for all the guys when I say we're pro-vax, by the way. I'm double jabbed, so I'm getting a great signal wherever I go. And I get that people can have their doubts and their worries on certain issues, but don't go laughing at people who are taking extra precautions as we're hoping to move towards the end of this pandemic. Don't think you're being smug and clever because you want to deny everything else that you see going on and just avoid the smaller risk that you've built up in arguments to be a bigger risk. That really just makes you an asshole, and we wouldn't care if you don't watch this video or listen to the podcast, really at all. So I think if you've listened to us at all and know our views on inclusivity and representation and keeping common sense, then you already know that. So I hope that you're already on board with us. If not, oops. Anyway, post. I got some posts from our video. Let me get onto this before the anger consumes me. I am not Dave. I am not Dave. I am not Dave. This lovely little box set, the Years of Lead, the 5, I think it is, Italian crime thrillers. It's a bit of a blind spot for me. I'm not as familiar with them as I would like to be, and this looks like a good mix to start with. I did worry that there's a film in here called Like Rabid Dogs, and I was like, is that just another title for Rabid Dogs, which I have the Bava film? No, it's not, so that's fine. Savage 3, Colt 38 Special Squad, Highway Racer, and No, the Case is Happily Resolved. They're all packaged on 3 discs. There's a nice little book with some writing from people that I know and like, so that's good. That was the main thing for this week. I also got Major Dundee, which I think Kevin Shields would absolutely surely typify as a lads film, or what was that, an old lads film, or whatever his phrase is. Kevin, remind me of your phrase. Perfect sort of, I would say, Sunday afternoon fare. So I'm going to hopefully watch that actually, maybe this weekend, treat myself, get the slippers on, settle down. And Irizumi, I have no idea what this is about. I really liked the imagery on the front, so I went for it. I do that with a lot of Japanese cinema and cinema from other territories. You know, the Chinese movies, the Korean films, South Korean films. It's always tends to be at least interesting, and you know, often either quite thought-provoking or confrontational, or just outright shocking sometimes. So that's good. If you know anything of this one and can recommend it to me to bump up the list, then please do so. I went to see Fast 9 at the cinema the other day, to go from one extreme to the other. If you like the Fast and Furious movies, I don't know how you would dislike that. It's a lot of fun. It knows how silly it is. It acknowledges that, particularly in a theory that's posited by Tyrese Gibson's character throughout. So that was, I actually recommend that. If you like the series, you know what you're getting. Anyway, remember a while ago when I was like, your DVD collection doesn't define you, and it really doesn't. and also however you collect and however you love whatever movies you love is your thing. So I've been watching some stuff lately. I'm going to get to that reminded me that also like other people's opinions of them don't or shouldn't affect your enjoyment of them. Like, we are a podcast with four guys most of the time just chatting about films. Dave tends to be the more negative one among us about stuff. Like, he's less kind than we are a lot of the times. Tyler very much knows what he's going to tend to like beforehand, so he's happy to effusively praise the stuff he picks. I go into every film wanting to like it. That's my thing. So that's why they always end up referring to me as Kevin 7, because a 7 out of 10 is a good film. And unless I'm really seeking out the dross, which I sometimes do, I'm hoping for a good film. Craig's an enigma wrapped in a riddle, wrapped in a mystery, because of his love for Neil Breen movies and Night Beast. But whether we love or hate something that you love or hate, it doesn't, shouldn't bother you. It's it's just our opinion. Any critic saying stuff, it's just their opinion. And yeah, people will be like, oh, well, what films have you made? And that's not really like that relevant or clever. People don't say that every time there's something made. I've made this point before. People don't rush out to say that when you're really praising a film. They don't be like, oh, you love that film, but what films have you made? It doesn't happen. But all it is just opinions. Just opinions. And going through the wide range of cinema is part of the fun. If you want to check out everything that's out there, and we live in such a glorious time that pretty much everything is out there. This came to my mind because this past week I've been watching a lot of Mary Millington movies. I was reading the booklet, and the movies are kind of quite bad. But the good thing about it was knowing that they were, successful. Come Play With Me was massively successful, ran for about 4 years, cinema in London, because of Millington's success as the sort of most famous British porn star of the 70s. And I was like, people obviously view porn a certain way, even if it's mild, if it's softcore stuff. I was like, that's, it's not fair, because for better or worse, it's made people a lot of money, a lot of reputations. It's that kind of stuff that has at times probably saved some little businesses, particularly when things went to VHS. The same can be said for horror. So you get those going hand in hand, and then you go from porn, you realize horror's the same and as often as derided or dismissed. You think of the lowbrow comedies over the years. You think is something that you can turn your nose up at, like the blockbuster entertainment of the Fast and Furious movies. I know it's a very weird connection, but you know what I mean. So I was looking around, I was like, I own this box set, I want to recommend it. I can't remember if it's out there for a good price. Contextually, it's a good little package with like the story of Mary Millington running through these movies, and the documentaries on there are respectable. The book's a good read, and she died tragically young. It wasn't like a great life for her. This box set has all of that within it, more than just some smutty movies dotted through the discs, and has the extra features. It's really worthwhile. But while looking about, I realised, so the mix of stuff I have on box sets, where you're talking about the house movies, the Frasier, the complete set. I've got the Universal monster movies, and I thought I would pick some more out. So that's what I did. And they're very much a mix. Here we go. Starting with more Asian cinema. I picked these out because I keep remembering now and again that these end up being worth like a hell of a lot of money. This Yoshida set, I've seen Eros and Massacre, and there's a lot to it. It was a good film, but it's not the kind of film I'll rush to rewatch until I'm wanting to sort of explore a film that that works through and holds a mirror up to, you know, Japanese history and culture through the time period that it's being set in. But it's a great box set, going for, I think, ridiculous amounts from second-hand sellers, I believe. Same with the Imamura set. I've seen a few of these now, but I'm not going to say to you, oh, when I'm relaxing in the evening, I'll sit down and watch an Imamura movie. I'll probably go for something that's just been released from the asylum. I did watch Aquarium of the Dead recently before I rewatch these. But again, it's about the full package. It's about everything that you can learn about the movies, about the filmmakers, what they wanted to say, whether that works or not, and having them there as a resource, as well as discovering movies that you might love. So I'm really happy I got those, even if it takes me 10 years to get through them, whereas within a week or two I'll be finished the Mary Millington box set. Other stuff I have here, was lucky enough to get the complete Alan Clarke set, Descent and Disruption. These are just fantastic. I've watched is it about half a dozen or so, and they're all really great. They're basically TV programs or movies. I can't remember the format. Was it like the Play Today or and stuff like that? But it shows the way that Clarke always, he seemed to appreciate the writing, the dialogue, the characters, something with a real strong message at its core, often about obviously the society at the time, and take that through to a natural conclusion, which is just great. He's great at handling the actors, the script, not needing lots of bells and whistles, but keeping you engrossed throughout. This set, if you can get it, is just like a bit of a showcase. Rough around the edges, indeed they are, 70s and 80s TV show production levels, but it's the power of the ideas and the strength of the passion that Clarke always seems to have for the material that makes his worthwhile. So yeah, if you ever get lucky and see that going at a bargain, do pick it up. From one extreme to the other, Abbott and Costello. I bought this ages ago. I can't remember how much I got it for. I don't think it ended up costing me that much. And they're all just dotted through it there. I love Abbott and Costello. I also have a Chaplin set, and Chaplin is viewed by many as the master. I love Modern Times. It's one of my favourite comedies of all time. The Great Dictator is marvellous. I've watched The Kid, and did I watch City Lights? I can't remember. I've got more to see. But for me, it was always Abbott and Costello. The compilation show was on early in the morning during holiday times. I like the quick-witted, quick interplay of the dialogue. I like the routines, you know, whether it's who's on first or it's like 7 times 3 is 28 or whatever it is. Really great stuff. So I'm happy with that box set. Then I'm equally happy with Fassbinder, or Fassbinder. This is a lovely set. I think Arrow have been releasing these separately as well over the years, but again, if you can, you know, he was a hell of a director. Got so much work out there in a rather small amount of time, and they're definitely all worth watching. The Bitter Tears of Petra von Kant is pretty much every scene as a new wave 80s album cover. So there is that, and Fear Eats the Soul is great. Fox and His Friends. I think I've watched most of these now, and I've been a fan of them all. And back to comedy. I got the Ealing set a long time ago, just DVD, but so many films on here that I love, and a few that I have still to see. I can't recall how much I got this for. I think this was an HMV. Pretty pricey if I remember right for DVD, but I wanted everything in the one place, especially Lady Killers, Kind Hearts and Coronets, and the Lavender Hill Mob. It's wonderful, yeah. So that was my excuse to show off a few of those, a few more sets, but also, again, it was just like, you know, it started from me watching the Mary Millington movies and knowing I'll get through those before I get through so many others, but that's fine. And although it's a slippery slope to be arguing on, you know, for some people that box set and those movies together are just as important as the other things I've just shown you. They're just as memorable for different reasons, and not just for the gratuitous nudity and swinging 70s London at the time, but they pinpoint time and a place. They have people involved from the industry and maybe people that were just in the adult entertainment industry at the time, and they're also films that were made concurrent with a life of someone that was, you know, not having a good time, and those films entertained and titillated audiences for a long time. And then when Millington died, I think it maybe took, you know, quite a while after that for the whole story to start to come out, and those films are still a starting point to then find out more about her and see her presence on screen, and then see sort of, you know, maybe what could have been if she'd been in better company, or if there'd been better movies available. I've also got the book about Millington. Let's have a look, see. Is it? Well, it's kind of rude at the front, but not too rude. That'll do. This is I just got everything about her because it was a really sad story, but it's one that I wanted to fully take in. Otherwise, she's just someone that was used and then forgotten about, and why would you want that? Why would you want that for someone that gave so many people like pleasure? And I mean that in terms of film and entertainment. I'm not going for the terrible double entendres. So that's that. More rambling. I hope there was a little bit of focus in there. Not sure if there was. I'm going to have an hour coffee. Enjoy your weekend. See ya.